Not going to start muted right away. Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Say Hey. As you know, our guy Jose is out of town this week. So we're going to have, some different guests and different stuff, but we're going to keep the show rolling because it's got to go on. My guy, Dommy Gunn, Ricci, is supposed to be here with me. I'm sure he'll show up any moment, hopefully. Shout out Dommy Gunn if you're out there. But like I said, either way, we're going to keep it rolling, guys. Rocco Rogers, Brett out in the chat, Brandon the Great, Justin, Professor Chris, all you guys, appreciate y'all showing in, man. Like I said, I don't know how to produce like Jose does, so I don't really have the production stuff going. I don't have my guest here, so this is going to be basically a shit show. I was left, in the wind with my dick in my hands. But we're going to talk baseball. That's something I can do at any point in time, all day, every day. So at least that'll be the easy part. Our first game here on the slate tonight. We're going to be looking at the Yankees taking on the Tigers. First pitch is at 5:40 in this game. Tigers are at home. Yankees are a small favorite, Tigers are actually a small favorite at most books. You got Severino going for the Yankees, Reese Olson going on the other side. This is just, speak of the devil right there. It looks like the OG just popped in backstage. So let me go ahead and bring on our guest today, Dommy Gunn. Dommy, what's up, man?
I made it.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't easy.
Jose, when he was telling me I was going to do the show, I was like, well, if I can get Dommy on here with me, that'd be fucking awesome.
When I get a text late in the afternoon and said that Cabby needs help, I'm there, my friend.
Hey, I appreciate it.
I'm there, my friend.
Appreciate it.
I mean, I'll help out Pub anytime also, but he told me, you needed help, my friend? I am here. I don't have a lot of capping done, but, we've been doing this long enough.
Yeah, and we're just going to talk baseball, too. Yeah, we got so many great cappers in the
good
chat.
To see you, man.
It's more just like about sharing the knowledge anyways. That's what
good to see you. Thank you, everybody. How's everybody in Publand doing? It's been a quick summer, man. All of a sudden, summer has been gone. It's been crazy.
Where'd it go?
I know. Listen, it happens. Your parents told you that, right? You didn't believe them. It's the truth.
They told you, time goes by so fast.
Right,
but now, I got a couple little ones, Dom, and it's like,
yes, sir.
The last 6 years, I blink my eyes and they're already over.
Yeah, man. I hear you. I'm with you. I have a daughter your age, so I get it. So anyhow, how's baseball season been going for you?
I don't have the same volume, and some people appreciate it, some people joke with me, and it is what it is. I don't have the same volume as other people. I'm up about almost 13 units on the season, but most days I might only have one bet.
No, I get it. Hey, listen, that works for you, right?
Right, exactly. That works for me. And
doesn't matter what other people think. Listen, up 13 units is better than down 13 units. I don't care if you're betting $20 a game or $1,000 a game, right? Still better, right?
Yeah, there you go. That's true. How about you, man? How's baseball been going for you?
Been going good. Up a little over 30 units. But I bet a lot. I bet a lot of games. And I've been on pace. I've been at that 40 pace the last couple of years. And hopefully September's the month, man, the make or break month. September is the make or break month. And in August, I kind of took it easy. I backed down a little bit in August. I took a little time. I even took a couple of weeks off from doing the shows, just to relax a little bit. And now I'm ready for September to rock and roll. It's going to be a good one. Listen, we have a wide open baseball season. I mean, except I guess if you had to pick one team, I would guess it's the Braves that they could only hurt themselves. They're just such a great team. I hate to say it, as you guys know, as a Met fan.
They're just so dominant.
I like the Rangers. I keep on liking the Rangers, but every time I start liking them, they do what they go 1-9 the last 10. Right. So it's wide open, guys. We're gonna have a good. I know football's starting. I know everybody's chomping at the bit because everybody just loves betting the NFL, including myself. Not that it's my greatest sport. But
do you bet college football also, Dom, or do you?
I cap the cappers. I follow my boys, Doc and DJ mostly. I follow you guys that are into the college football. I'm not a college football guy, no. So the old standby, cap the cappers. Nothing wrong with cap the cappers.
Absolutely, man. Well, right before you got in right here on time.
Good.
Jose's real finicky about actually starting on time. With the sesh, we might start 10 minutes late every day. But I barely even introed the first game. I pulled up. If you see at the bottom, I don't have the same graphics as Jose, but we got the Yankees taking on Detroit here.
Okay.
Reese Olson on the mound for Detroit. Severino going for the Yankees. Severino has been nothing but a fade consistently this year. 7.26 ERA. He's walking he's got 32 walks for his 63 strikeouts. Just an absolutely horrible strikeout to walk ratio. A 1.75 WHIP. And I think Detroit's, I guess I can say, rightly favored in this game. What do you think about this one?
Yes, rightly favored. I agree. I just have a hard time betting Detroit, but they're definitely the play tonight. So you mentioned Sevy's ERA. How about this on the road? It's over 9. So there you go. I think he's 0-6 on the road. I believe his last terrible. Olsen, his ERA is over 5, but he has his advanced numbers look a little bit better. He pitched only 68 innings, but a decent strikeout rate. I mean, I don't have a bet on this game, but for some reason, Severino pitched decent last time out. Though he had a decent out. I don't know why. I think this might be not as many runs scored, but I don't really have an opinion on this game. I mean, the Yankees don't hit nobody, right? They're just amazing.
It's so frustrating to watch them, Dom. And take this for what it's worth, but when the Yankees come to Detroit, they've lost 10 of their last 12 games actually. So this is something they've already struggled with even before this point where they've hit in their season.
Too many games on the docket to have to worry about this. If I had to put a play in, Detroit opened up at 104. Now it's minus 125. Like Professor Chris says, he has a model that says it should be about minus 108. I agree with him. There's no value in this game. I'm not laying minus 120 something on Detroit. So that's just my prejudice against the Tigers, I guess. But
I mean,
the Yankees have been winning the first 5 and then losing the game. Their pen has blown up so many games over the last couple of weeks. It's sickening. And I'll give you guys another little tidbit. This is the worst year for New York baseball combined since I believe they said the late 60s. Both teams haven't done this bad. I mean, the Mets are as bad as the Nationals. I think the Nationals have more runs scored than us, or we're tied. I mean, we're actually the Nationals have been a very good road team. Actually,
we can because I'm not going to bet this one either. We can move on from this one.
But
let's
go.
If I was forced to make a bet in this game, it would probably just be the first 5 over. I don't trust either of these pitchers, but I don't trust either of these teams hitting either. So
right.
Like you said, let's keep this rolling. Next game we got up here, we got the Angels taking on the Phillies here. Phillies have kind of been rolling, and the Angels have done what the Angels do with Trout out, with Ohtani out. They've got their injuries. Angels got
even with them in, even with those 2 guys in. What did the Angels do? I'm sorry. It's been years. Those 2 best players in baseball, what have they done? It's just my pet peeve. I'm not saying they're not great ball players, but Jesus. That Angel team, man, I don't get it. And now what? Ohtani's hurt?
My take on that, too, is Trout's hurt every fucking season.
Always.
And, he's always hurt. And then Ohtani, it's like if you paid attention, and I know they're trying to make the playoff push and all, but he pitched a complete game in a doubleheader the other day and then was in the lineup the next game. It's like
he's done that a bunch of times. It's shocking. Why?
What do you think's going to happen? We're not they're major league athletes playing at an intense high level. Of course he's hurt. That's what's going to happen.
It was only a matter of time, and it's the reason why I said I didn't want the Mets to give him a 10-year contract. I know it's Ohtani, but I don't. What's he gonna? He's gonna have to choose sooner or later. If you ask me, you're gonna pitch or you're gonna hit. The phenomenon has gone on long enough. It's what you've done is will never be done again, and it's great, man. It's and I'm not trying to disrespect the guy, but you got to pick sooner or later, man. Right?
Right.
Geez, I mean, how long can your body hold up? But anyhow, you got Lucas Giolito, who has not done any better as he went to the Angels and didn't do any better. I'll give you his last. Now, granted, it's been against good teams. But his last few games against the Blue Jays, 5 2/3, 3 runs, let up 2 home runs. Against the Braves, 9 earned, 3 homers. Against the Rangers, his last outing, 15th of August, 4 earned, 7 hits. It was like a 7-3 loss. I mean, yes, he's playing. He hasn't had luck, against. He had tough lineups, and he got another one tonight. I took the Phillies minus 129 a little earlier. I don't know what it is right now, but I took them on BetUS minus 129.
I'm showing like minus. Do I not? Man, see, I'm so bad with the production. Look, I've got the wrong game. I don't even look. I got two games down there at the bottom. I think.
Yeah, but on top, we got LA Philly minus 130 over and under 9.5. I noticed somebody in the chat mentioned that they like the Phillies a lot tonight.
So here's my
Phillies
thing.
have been betting better. Their pen, is a little bit. But I listen. I like them. Walker 3.14 ERA, 72 innings at home. He has like a little over 3 ERA at home, a little over 70 innings pitched. So, and I like Taiwan. He's been a little up and down this year, but he's pitched better and better.
Well, my thing with him, Dom, is he's a 13-win pitcher right now. So like ERA, a little over 4 on the season. Sure, we'd like it to be a little lower, but he's been a workhorse for him. Like you said, already over 70 innings at home, and they win behind him. These two teams are heading in completely opposite directions, which we touched on at the beginning. But I think this is a crucial win for the Phillies here, and I think this is a spot where they need to come away with the win. And if they've got their guy that they've got 13 wins behind on the season, confidence should be high. They should have the momentum. They've got home field advantage here. I'm kind of shocked the line's where it's at. I'd definitely be on Philly in this one also.
Yeah. I took Philly in this game. Taiwan has 136 innings already pitched, so they might have to start thinking about him, going forward, going late if they want to make that playoff push. I mean, they're going to need him for the playoffs. But isn't Philly doing what they did last year? End of August, beginning of September, all of a sudden they're winning and winning. Right?
It's like they're like the Mariners from the other side. It's just right at the right time. They're hitting their stride. I tell you what, Jose kind of irked me. My thing is, Dom, if I give out, so I'll tell you right here what it was. If I give out a quote unquote play, I'm betting it. I don't ever give out anything I don't bet.
Yeah,
and he was joking with me, like saying I won't have a card like his. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll have a few more bets. But if I do, I'm actually going to bet it. Right. That being said, I might add Philly here because I might beef up my card a little bit like Jose.
Listen,
since he's gone.
I'm not gonna. I learned years ago, and I used to do it like everybody else. I'm not betting just because I'm doing a show. I was doing that 5 years ago. If I was on the show with Jimmy, I was putting in 7, 8 bets, even if I didn't like it. I talked about this card with Big Ragu before. We both thought this is a tough card tonight. This is a tough card tonight, without a doubt. And I have 3 or 4 plays. That's all. I have a couple things. I think maybe together we might be able to pull a couple out. But I only have 3 or 4 plays. But that's just a good lesson. But yeah, I'm betting everything I talk about, guys. Anything I ever put out on Twitter for the last 6 years, I bet that. So be that as it may. So
shout
I do have the Phillies tonight.
I want to make sure I highlight all these guys. Brad Summersell, Justin, Stacks play of the day out there. He said he's got. He bet the 9.5 plus 105 Harper RBI. I know that Mike M has the Castellanos RBI for today, so I like that. But shout out to all you guys in the chat, man.
Phillies team total over 4.5. Cool, Justin. Yeah.
Yep. Let's keep this thing rolling, though, Dom. I'm
what game you got
this,
next,
man.
buddy?
We're looking at Chicago White Sox taking on Baltimore here. And, I know you've seen probably what Jimmy's been doing. He's just been taking Baltimore -1 every game without thinking about it. And it's been working for him here. He might have to.
No, I've been laxed in August, to be honest with you. I haven't been in the chats too much for the last few weeks. But that's funny that he's been doing that. I hear you. I don't blame him. It's been working, right?
Yeah, it's been working, right? That's what I was going to say. Today's pitching matchup, though, you got Kopech going on the side for the White Sox, and then you got Grayson Rodriguez going for Baltimore. You like you said, if you and Big Ragu touched on it, I think this card is just difficult for me.
It is.
Kopech is one of those guys that I just don't think he has the mental fortitude for baseball because as far as stuff goes, his stuff is plus. Like his pitching ability is plus.
100% right.
What he puts on the field, though, is not plus.
His K rate is good, but he has no control. He has no control. He's a weird pitcher. He really is. I was going to mention that. You're right. His stuff plus is there. The numbers are there, but but he's not. Does not have the control. He's really ranked kind of worse than league average now, out of the starters. And he walks a lot of people. If you look at his last bunch of games, he walked 4 or 5 batters in a lot of those games. Rodriguez, I like him. I think he's pitching a little bit better. They sent him down for a little while, remember? And he came back up. I think he's pitching a little bit better. The numbers I look at, he's ranked about 30th out of the starters. You think there's like 150 starters? He's ranked about 30th. So he's in there. I like Baltimore, but how do you play this game tonight, right? The numbers and the things I go by, Baltimore really works out to be like over a minus 400 favorite if you graded out the numbers, So,
right.
But how do you play this game? Maybe a first 5. What I've been doing, I've been throwing in first 5 parlays, 2-team parlays with first 5s. I've been doing pretty good with that. I've been happy taking, if I could get a plus 170 or a little bit under plus 200. I like to get 200 or better, but if I get like a plus 170 or so, I've been doing that. Baltimore would definitely be in that category of throwing in maybe a parlay or something with the first 5. But again, I can't play a minus 200, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm in the exact same boat. So I like what you just said. It's maybe a first 5 parlay piece. Maybe throw them like with the Phillies first 5 and get plus money or something like that. But
what is he
betting
on
his side?
A DGen parlay somewhere? Let me see what that says. What does that say?
Where is it? Hold on, let me highlight it.
Oh, Chris, money line minus 229 and run line minus 107. Oh, I think they're talking about Seattle or something. Maybe not that game. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
That's when you read the chat, you get screwed up. But anyhow, right. How do you play this game? I mean, and how do you play the White Sox? They just, they're the White Sox. I mean, this year they're not even making a run. They just given up, I guess.
Oh, they're such a pathetic baseball team. I've touched on this every time I've done a baseball show since it happened. But the fact that they let Castillo stand up there and throw 47 fastballs in a row, that's just embarrassing. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's comical. Embarrassing. I told somebody when I was talking with them the other day, he might as well have been standing there like this, Dom. He might as well been going like this, just letting them know, hey, I'm throwing it's a fastball. Like, fastball's coming. Like,
wow. That's
so,
funny.
Hey, our guy Nutflush, shout out to Nutflush in the chat. He said
Mike,
play the team total over with Baltimore coming off a loss.
Okay. And there's another thing with Baltimore. They have some great, I don't remember what the number is, but they have a great record coming off a loss, by the way. They're one of the best teams in baseball coming off a loss this year. I remember talking about it last time they had a loss, and I can't find the paper now. But, yes. Yeah, that's not a bad way to go, Mike. Mike always throws in a little something for me extra to look at. I don't know what number we can get on that, but
here, while you get that, I'll move this on too, because I'm pulling these.
Ahead.
Everybody in the chat, bear with me. I'm not the best at producing. I'm pulling some of this information and stuff up as we're moving on here.
What's the next game you got up? Washington, Toronto? Yes.
Yep.
Another game. How do you play it, right? But let me tell you, now how you play it is, if you're going to take a shot with this game, you take the best. The Nationals are almost a 500 team on the road. If you bet the Nationals on the road, you're winning. Your ROI got to be 15% or better. I imagine, because all those
high.
wins, because they're all dog plays. So you never. How many times are they a favorite? So all those games. If you would bet all those games, you lost 35 of them, but that was all at even money basically, and the other 33 that you won were all at plus money. So they're a great road team. It's just amazing, Gray on the road this year, 85 innings, 2.7 ERA, a little higher than that, but he's under 3. Gossman, he's like the bad luck pitcher for Toronto. In August, he's 1-3 in August, 22 innings, 22 and 2/3 pitched, a little under 4 ERA. But the Blue Jays are 1-3; they don't back him. In July, 23 innings, 1-3 again in July with a 3.52 ERA. So he's pitched well, but they don't back him. I'll tell you, if there was a dog tonight to play, And as our friend Big Wiggle likes to say, the sprinkle. I see someone else talking about. Yeah, Brandon the Great talks a little bit about the sprinkle. Well, I would sprinkle a little bit on Washington, but I didn't. Not that I did. But they're not a bad play. And what's the plus 1.5? A bet I've never taken in my life. But I wonder what is that run line? If it's
let's see,
you
can get
plus.
Yeah, you can get plus 106 at that. So you can still
that's
get
not such a bad price. It really isn't.
It's not, and people don't understand that. I know you do because how you bet with baseball, but that 1.5, like a lot of games land on one. There's a reason why the line's 1.5. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So one thing I'll say is, I was going to ask you. It's juiced a little bit to the over, but at 7.5. I was going to ask you how you feel about this total. I've been a big proponent this year. A lot of what I've had success on, and like I said, I'm 93 and 71, like on all the bets, just under 13 units. So I don't have a ton of volume, but what I've had success on is attacking first 5 totals, predominantly overs. Excuse me, I almost said unders. I think that we've seen that the starting pitchers have really struggled, and I know this goes back to the beginning of the season, bringing up the pitch clock. But we've seen runs early in baseball games this year. A lot of games have shot over that total in the first 5, but still stayed under for the full game. And this is one of those games where you can get a 4 in the first 5. I don't see any reason why we don't at least get 4 runs. Both of these pitchers, even if they have a good game, if you're telling me they gave up 2 runs throughout 5 innings, 2 or 3 runs, that's kind of what I'd expect from a good game from them. And both of these guys have the potential to implode. So I kind of lean first 5 over on this. I just haven't bet it.
A bet that I have done this year a lot, you mentioned the first 5, is a certain team as their team total over. That 2.5 has seemed to have been a pretty good bet. There's like the Rangers at home for a while, was the Reds at home for a while. Before the All-Star break, those were great bets, both of those teams.
So like Washington's first 5 team total, it's 1.5 runs for the first 5 at plus 115 right now, Dom.
That's because of Gausman. And like I said, Washington plays good on the road. It's not really a bad way to attack it. I know it's a little bit, against, what you would think. I mean, Gausman's, he does have good numbers and stuff. But listen, I like I said, I thought Washington isn't such a bad bet as a dog, and if they're gonna win, I would think they're gonna win a game, a little bit higher, a 7-4 game, a 6-4 game. They're not gonna win a 3-2 type of game, So
if it wasn't for the
I don't think it's a bad bet where you're coming from.
If it wasn't for the inconsistencies that the Blue Jays have had at the plate, I would definitely be on that first 5 over. But I don't like this Blue Jays team. I've kind of gone out there and said it. They're inconsistent at the plate. I don't expect much out of them.
They don't have the pitching to go forward. I don't think. I know Chris Bassett ain't really doing exactly what they thought. They thought he was going to just be a dominant force, and I mean he's pitched well at home, but he hasn't pitched well overall. So,
right.
But I don't have a play on this game. But I hear what you say. I don't. I wouldn't discount that first 5 over, like you said.
So this next game, I'm actually pretty excited to talk about. I do have action in this next game here. Looking at this Houston Boston game, this is going to be a home game for the Red Sox here. They're going to be at Fenway where they're comfortable. They hit a lot better at home. Pitching matchup wise, we've got Christian Javier going for the Astros. 9-2 on the season. His ERA is not indicative of his record. 4.52 ERA, 1.26 WHIP. So he does throw strikes. It's just when he gets hit hard. On the other side, you got Chris Sale going, and we talked about Kopech earlier. I think him and Sale are in the same boat in my mind when it comes to people that are lacking.
They're pretty evenly matched. Yeah, I think they're pretty evenly matched.
Between the ears is where I think that they fall off, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, they just fall off.
I thought you were telling me you couldn't hear me.
Oh, no. I was saying that this crucial 6 inches right here, Dom. I know you've heard about this 6 inches between the ears.
Yeah.
I think Sale is missing when it comes to that 6 inches. He's got 5-3 record, 4.68 ERA. Since he's been back, he's been struggling to get through 5 innings. Last start was the first start where he did go 5 innings. That was against Houston. At Houston, he gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, all 4 of them earned. He did have 9 strikeouts. But where I'm getting at with this game is, Fenway, especially when it comes to a big game like this, it's just a park where we're going to see runs. There's a reason why the total is so high. I think both of these pitchers are a little bit susceptible. I bet the first 5 over 5 at -115. What do you think about that, and what are you looking at here?
I wrote down on that when I was looking at this game. I wrote down runs over. There's going to be runs, I would think, too. Exactly. Both these pitches last week pitched against these teams. Sale pitched against the Astros last week. 5 innings, 4 earned, let up a homer. Javier pitched against the Red Sox. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, and a homer. So the Astros have been hitting lefties. Boston's been hitting righties. It's like, yes. I mean, I don't have to go over all the numbers and stuff. I was kind of looking at Houston. I've been betting the Astros lately. I think they're a team that's just going to start getting better and better and better. And again, the Astros are going to be there in the end. They are. I was looking at the Astros team total over. I had a question mark against. So I'm kind of like on board on what you were saying with the bet that you like.
They've already officially passed the Rangers as of yesterday. God, it's been so frustrating being somebody here that's close to the ballpark in Arlington. The Rangers they're toast, man. And I think last night blowing that 5-0 lead was just.
And a couple of our friends have some big futures with the Rangers. Yeah,
like World Series futures.
Yeah. AL Championship, Division Championship, and World Series right through the gamut. So they need to hit at least one of them. And then again, we'll talk about that game. And then, but if the Rangers are going to turn around their season, I think it would be this series. They better watch their ass. They better not let the Mets beat their ass. I can tell you that.
Well, I'm sitting here
thinking, I'm being honest with you. But
the way
get back to this game, I kind of like
your
bet. I was looking at the Houston. I'm looking right now what the total is. I don't play over 10s. I don't play them. I don't like to go over 9. Once in a while, I'll go over 9.5. When it comes to the 10, I just leave it alone. I'm not going to play under 10. If anything, sometimes I think that you look for the live bet. Maybe hopefully the first inning or two was a little bit, no runs are scored, and you see like an 8.5, and then you bang it. But I don't like doing that either. So the Houston's team total over 4.5 is -115. That's not such a bad number. And let's see what the first 5 is. Where do you get your lines? Is that your local, or is that Bet Online? Where do you get your lines from?
I'm usually giving out generic lines. My local lines are actually a little different, but right. I'm just giving out like generic lines here. Which one are you looking for?
I look at what I use baseball. I use Bet Online and Bet US. Those 2 books, I'm convinced, got the best overall in general. You're going to get a better line on those 2 damn books. It's just better than DraftKings and FanDuel that everybody loves going. They're a reason why they're the biggest, company around, right? With all their marketing and stuff. You're not getting the best lines with them all the time, that's for sure. But
one thing.
Houston first 5. The first 5 total I see is 5.5. Is that what you took?
So I actually got a 5 -115.
Oh,
I got over 5
because this is 5.5 -110. That I don't like. 5.5, I would have left it alone. But Houston's team total over first 5 is 2.5 +115. That's interesting. I think Sale is a better pitcher than he's been showing. Like you said about both these pitchers. See, I'm all over the place with this game. If I had a bet, I would probably take Houston's team total over. But I might even take the Astros. I'll tell you, the Astros outright isn't really even a bad bet. I don't think the Red Sox are going to beat them. That's another thing. But
look at Jose popping up in the chat, Dom. He said we're on the Sox, right? And then somebody else was responding to that. What's up, Jose? No, we're
what's up, buddy?
We're not. Are you on the Sox, Jose? Are the bets still coming out? I'm just taking that.
They're taking money. I see them at -132 now. I don't know what to do with this game. I tell you the truth, I would take Houston if I was gonna, or even maybe the first 5. But I like your over 5. I like that. I could see some runs being scored. That's for sure.
one more thing with the chat, then we're going to move to this next game. Markel, I will absolutely be firing away. I'm on Utah -4.5. I will have college football this action throughout, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Beautiful. Yeah. A lot of guys to follow. A lot of action going to be going on in college football. You hit on the right guys, you'll be doing well. So,
oh man, Big Boss and Ragu are two of my favorite college football cappers. Before I ever got on screen and did anything, I was always tuned into what they're doing and always will be still to this day. So,
without a doubt.
This next one we kind of have already talked about a little bit. Texas is only a minus 132 favorite here, but I mean, with how horrible they've been playing, that's how it has to be. It looks like it's -140 at some places. We got John Gray.
I'm seeing 140 now. Yeah.
140. Okay.
Yeah.
We got John Gray here, 8-7, a 3.76 ERA going against McGill. He's had some decent enough starts. One thing with John Gray, so like I said, I've attacked first 5 totals. I've been betting first 5 over and all of John Gray's starts for like a while now. He's had a couple good starts mixed in there, but the Rangers luckily were able to go get those totals for me. He's somebody I just saw regressing, and as much as I'd love to say, oh, at -132 or -140, let's take the Rangers money line. They're not getting a fucking dollar from me, Dom.
I hear what you're saying. Listen, if the Mets hit anybody, they hit righties. They never hit lefties. They're notorious for not hitting lefties. I'll just let you know that for years upon years. McGill's problem is, and you'll understand it as a pitcher, he throws that damn ball down. He has some decent stuff, and he's pitched a little bit better, but his control sucks, and he pitches down the middle of the goddamn plate all the time.
He gets behind and counts and then just pipes it, right?
Yep. And, the difference in velocity really with his curveball and his fastball ain't really that great. And it was just kind of something I like to look at. But, I don't know, I had a piece of something written on them, and I couldn't find it. Not that it matters. But, and now you got the Rangers 1-9 in the last 10. It's just hard to figure out what to do with this team. The over 9 isn't a bad play. I wished I seen it 8.5. If I would have seen it 8.5, I definitely would have took over 8.5. Now the under 9 is the 9 is juiced to the under -120. I'm seeing now, but I think there's going to be a run scored in this game. The Mets team total over 3.5. It's -135, which again, I don't like going over to 125, but 3.5 isn't such a bad number against Gray. Gray has not pitched great. He's definitely digressed or regressed, whatever the word is. But yeah.
Well, how do you feel about, so one way I have still, and they haven't been putting up a ton of runs, so I've been lucky that I've spot hit it. But throughout this fall with the Rangers, when I say fall, like this 1-9 streak, I've hit their team total a couple times and they've still cashed that. Their team total's sitting at 4.5 -119 here.
Who's?
The Rangers.
Oh, now I got over 4.5 -135 on the Rangers. Wow, it's right. So someone's betting that someone's betting that up somewhere.
Okay.
So
and I'm showing
not a bad way of looking at it.
I'm showing -125 here at another book too. So this one, yep.
So the money is definitely going that way. So there's definitely money going that way. Did anybody in the chat have a play on this game?
Yeah, let us know. Let me see. I'm not doing the best highlighting it. Let me get back to it. Our guy Daryl said, Houston Astros run line if you like money. Don't let Jose's Red Sox homie love getting your brain.
It's about time for the Red Sox to start fading away. So
I think, Jose put it in the chat down there. He asked us, he said, so the Rangers still a lock for the playoffs? First off, nobody ever said they were a lock. Second, I don't think your Red Sox are going to pass them, so don't get excited. I think the Rangers still make a wild card. I think they might hit that second wild card spot. I mean, they could fall behind Seattle and the Astros here, but I still think they hit that second wild card spot. I hope they do, at least.
A lot of people I think a lot of people are going to bet the Rangers tonight, thinking, well, they 1-9, they're gonna break out of that. They're playing the Mets. It's not such a bad spot for the Mets at +125. It's not such a bad spot. Really, it really isn't. It really isn't a bad spot for them. I'll tell you one thing about the Mets too, for you guys that like to play Nerfies and whatever the acronym is for yes first run. The Mets are notorious for giving up runs in the first inning. Notorious. They were outscored before the All-Star break, something like 40-something to like 15, to 43 to 15, whatever the numbers were. It means the same thing. If I said 48 to 18, it means the same thing. But yes, and then after the All-Star break, they continued that. So just to keep that in mind, they don't hit lefties and they suck in the first inning. And McGill is giving up his share.
But man, I tell you what, and with John Gray
on got over 8 RVD. That's my boy too. He comes on my show all the time. Good guy. Over 8.5 is I can't get it. I just keep on seeing a 9. I don't know where you got the 8.5, but if I see 8.5, I'm taking it. Good number.
Right. I think it got bet up, so he must have got on it early. Shout out RVD. Shout out Jacqueline in the chat. Yes, so I guess we'll move on. I might get there with the team total over, but I'm not taking – I got to look at my personal book and see what it is. I was showing anything from minus 119 all the way up to 135. If it's, under minus 130, I'll bet it. If it's over, I probably won't.
Yeah, 135, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Right. I'm in the same boat. So this next one, we got the Guardians here taking on the Twins. I just got done watching the Twins closely as they were toying with the Rangers and having fun in that little series there. Guardians are looking to make the push for the division,
but will they?
I don't think so. That's
where
I was
going. They have the pitching. They don't have the pitching. They're not going to do what they did last year. I don't think they're going to do what they did last year. Go ahead. What you're saying? I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you completely. That's exactly what I was going to say next. Is I just. I don't think that they're going to get there. And the Twins have finally been driving in runs. They've got some people that we expected to hit better, hitting for more power, really starting to step up. They've had some plate discipline, whether it's Kepler or, throughout the lineup, they've had people stepping up. And I think the Twins are going to limit the Guardians here. Guardians only average 4 runs per game. They're one of the worst offenses to watch in all of baseball, in my opinion. It's absolutely just frustrating to watch here. I would maybe look first 5 under in this game, and I would probably look Twins. I have no bet in this game, but that's where I'd be at.
This kid Curry, his ERAs are bad, but his advanced numbers are bad. His xERA, his xFIP, those numbers are bad. I don't know what the fuck I do with the paper, but his numbers are bad, Curry, and I think he's getting worse. And I think Maeda's pitched a little bit better. I like the Angels. I like the Twins in this spot. I took the Twins team total over 4.5, minus 120. I think they get to this kid Curry. And as far as the total, the 8.5, I'm just worried about the Guardians hitting. That's always the issue.
Yep.
And I like the Twins in this spot. They're coming off a good series. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Curry. The hell I had it down there. 3.51 ERA in 77 innings, but his xERA, his advanced numbers, 4.99, xFIP 5.28. So it doesn't look great. Maeda's didn't have a great first half, and he's pitching better since the All-Star break or since the second half. The Twins are, the Twins need this series. They need to make their move if they're gonna, because this is a normal time too. The Twins, they do well and then they start fading away towards the end of the season, right? Usually, so I like the Twins here. I didn't like the number as far as backing them as far as a bet for them to win the game, but I kind of like them in a first 5. I was thinking maybe a first 5 parlay with the Baltimore Orioles, but
there you go.
I did take the team total over 4.5, minus 120.
So I tell you what, on that team total, if you look at let's just say like their last 5 games, there was the one game that Scherzer pitched really well, and I think that was the one hammer spot for the Rangers. I was all over that game, but outside of that one game where Scherzer pitched well, they put up 7 runs in their last game. Now, granted, I know they got extra innings and whatever,
right?
But that's a part of the game. They put up 7 runs. I don't care how you look at it. That's what happened. And then you look 3 games ago, they put up 12. 4 games ago, they put up 7. You jump back to the series against Milwaukee, the last game against Milwaukee, they put up 7 runs. They've just been putting up some serious run production. That's all I was going to get at.
Right. I got you.
So
just a quick thing about the last game with the Rangers and the Mets. Gray's last start, 4 innings. He pitched 5 runs, 3 walks, 7 hits versus the Angels. So again, the Mets might not be a bad. I mean, the Mets might be a bad spot tonight in that game. How you doing, JPG?
Hell yeah, that's what I was going to do. Shout out our guy JPZ, man. You're getting a lot of love in there from the chat, Dom.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Always fun coming on with Pub and obviously with Kev. So yeah, so that's what I did. Minnesota Twins team total over 4.5.
I tell you what, this next game.
What game do you got there?
This next one coming up. These two teams talk about teams that have been disappointments, man. The Padres, Padres here taking on the Cardinals. You know, anybody who doesn't like the Padres has just been probably sitting back laughing this whole season.
Damn team.
Disappointing
so team. The Mets of the West. That's the Mets of the West, guys. The Padres and the Mets. They got all the talent in the world. They had all the pitching in the world. Well, the Mets don't know more, but and at this point, I think the Padres are still just. And boy, do they need this series. They need this series. And the Cardinals are another disappointing team that should have been better this year. But Jesus,
it's just been a train wreck. You know, one thing that hasn't been a train wreck is Blake Snell, who's going for the Padres here. You know, he's only 10-9 on the season, but his ERA is sitting at 2.73, 184 strikeouts already, which is just insane. To the 80 walks. You know, he does walk a few too many people, but his swing and miss stuff is off the charts. Blake Snell, in my opinion, has been, you know, I've said it and I've gotten some pushback, but I think he's been one of, if not the best pitchers in baseball this year. I mean, think about what he's been navigating with that team, and his stuff has just been outstanding. Then you look at the other side, you got Wainwright going for the Cardinals. Wainwright's done, man. He's cooked. He's throwing 88 with no movement. Like, his stuff isn't moving. He doesn't have plus velocity. I don't know why he's still hanging on and tainting his career at this point.
I could tell you the answer to that question. I believe what the answer is. He's going for some fucking milestone. Was it 200 wins or 300 wins? Whatever the hell. I don't know what. One of those. He's one of those guys. There's a few pitchers that are going for this milestone. And he has a couple more shots of trying to get a couple more wins. So they're putting him out there. If he was playing for a team that had a shot, he wouldn't be out there. You know, but he's for the Cardinals, so they're letting him do his thing. Let us get, you know, so So I listen. Snell is definitely one of the top, you know, top 3. I have Snell in my top 5 for sure, probably top 3. Like I have, you know, I'm a big Strider fan. Like, who isn't? You know, Glass now is another one that I really like a lot. But yeah, listen. Snell is like, you know, I heard someone talk about it today. He says Snell is like going pre-flop with pocket aces. And you get beat by Jack 10, bad beat, or he wins. And that's kind of almost like you're looking at, I mean, the pitching matchup, we could talk for an hour about the difference in the two pitches, right? But just to remind you, Wainwright, besides his 8 ERA for the season, his last start, 6 earned runs, 4 2/3 innings versus the Pirates, okay? Last 4 starts, all lost by 2 runs or more. I took a shot here. I didn't know how to play this game. Again, minus 200. I think Snell's going to deal. I took a weird bet, but Snell's over 6.5 strikeouts, plus the Padres win, plus 120.
Okay, I like that.
So he needs 7 Ks. I need 7 Ks and the Padres to win, plus 120. Another bet that I didn't think was too bad was Snell's over outs, 17.5. So he has to pitch 6 full innings to hit that bet. I didn't think that was a bad bet.
So I wanted to ask you about this one because I know you had said something in the chat, said you'd never bet it before. I'm starting to see it more and more. You know, you've got 3 options out there for the first 5 on the run line. The half a run is going to be juiced. It looks like
I hate that fucking bet.
About minus 133 is the lowest. It goes all the way up to minus.
I hate that bet. I hate giving up that tie. I do it once in a while, but I hate that minus a half.
You don't like it? Well, then you're really not going to like what I'm about to ask. Because I was going to say, so it goes up to like minus 145. and then you've got -1.5s at plus money, but a few books have the -1 in the first 5, and that's only -105. I just feel like personally, I'd like to cut the juice.
That's not a bad way to go. That's not a bad way to go. I don't, I'm not a fan of the -1, but that's not a bad way to go. Just because I'm not a fan of it, the minus, but I mean, I would just take the damn run line, though. You see, that's how I said it at -1. I would just take the run line.
You're right, because I mean, they are on the road.
That's just me. There's also that double result bet that I know they don't always, which is first 5. It's basically a parlay, right? First 5, and BetUS has double result. They got the Padres like +110 or something like that. That's not a bad way to go either. But
I like the strikeout and Padres win because I think Snell gets 6.5 strikeouts. Yeah, I do. Do I think the Padres win this game? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Right.
If I'm going to lose this bet, it's because he had 5 strikeouts.
Or the Padres pull a pot. Or the Padres pull a.
Or the Padres to pull a Padre.
Yeah, I was about to say he gets 12 strikeouts, but they lose the game 2-1 or something stupid.
Oh gosh.
No, but I like
that. But the Padres are a very frustrating team. And I know we have a lot of Padre fans, especially over at Hubanga. We have a bunch of we all know we have a lot of California friends. Both of us have a lot of, right? What you said?
Yeah, we do. That's what I was about to say, Dom. I'm kind of a Padres fan. Jose gives me crap for being a Rangers fan. To be honest,
you bet you Darvish first 5. You bet you Darvish.
Jose does a little accent like this too. Man, I tell you what though, one of my least favorite things. Then we got to move on because we still got some more games to cap. Is the fucking Soto shuffle, man. When he's up to the plate and the pitcher throws a ball and he like starts shaking his head and grabs his cup and like does that little shuffle. Man, I'd be so tempted to throw it high and inside every time if I was pitching to him. Every pitch, man. But let's move on to this next one. Let's see what we got. We're rolling here now. We've already given out a few bets. Put it in the chat, guys, what you guys are betting. We'll recap bets at the end of this. This next one is an interesting game. Milwaukee taking on Chicago here. I think this is going to line up to be a really, important series and good game in general. Right
there.
What'd you say, Dom?
I said yes, right there. You're right. 100%. This is a super important series for both teams, without a doubt. Both teams that play well too within their division. By the way,
right, and have been hot of late. Also, I guess we can say both of these teams. Well, I guess we can say the Brewers have been, they've been on a tear. The Cubs have been doing great, winning pretty much every series in and out. We got Miley going, Wade Miley on the mound for the Brewers. He's got the 3.18 ERA, 6-3 on the season. Only 59 strikeouts to 27 walks, but I don't put too much into that because he's a contact pitcher. 1.17 WHIP, and then you got Tyon on the other side going for the Cubs. 7-8 on the season, 5.6 ERA. If I'm being honest here, it's this game almost feels kind of trappy or kind of fishy. Like I think the Brewers should be favored here, and you got the Cubs as a small favorite, a slight favorite at home here. What do you think about this one, Dom?
I listen. I've been going back and forth on this. Is the game that has me. Basically, I'm in your mind because I'm thinking the same thing you are. I don't know how you don't take. If you're gonna bet this game, I gotta take the Brewers +118 right now. I listen. I think both teams are evenly matched. I think I don't know if Miley's a better pitcher. I don't really know. I mean, they're pretty much. I think the Brewers are just playing really good ball, but they're not a team that I back. They're a team that I don't like in general, just because of how they've always seemed to be there. And then they, like I like to say, when they start getting the good press, they start fading away. But they've been playing good balls in the second half. Their pitching has been well. Miley's probably one of the lower end of their starters. I like Milwaukee here. Milwaukee is 24-12 in their division, which is their best, which is like one of the best records into division. But this is why stats sometimes you got to watch, because the Cubs are 23-15. So there you go. But I think the Brewers' pen is better. It shakes out to me that. The Brewers are to play +118 for the game. I kind of like that. I like them in this game. like I said, I don't like the Brewers and don't back them that much. Conversely, I do like the Cubs and I do back the Cubs. I very rarely have been betting against the Cubs in games that I do bet them, to be honest with you. But I'm, like I said, this was a question mark game. I got 3 bets in so far. This was the question mark game, but I like the Brewers. Wonder what the chat likes.
Yeah, I want to see that too. So we got Velo Cuts. He said Brew Crew and under. Joey, he said he leaned over at 8.5, but not at 9. He's not.
What's the weather in Chicago? One of the few stadiums that you really. I'm not the biggest weather guy, but Chicago, you need to know about the weather, and
looks like we got pretty good weather in Chicago tonight. Looks like it's going to be
blowing in out. Anything with the
76. We got a little bit of wind, just 8 miles per hour, which for Chicago is nothing.
Blowing which way?
Let's see, which way is this?
It
doesn't tell me if it's blowing out or not.
Okay, no problem.
That was a quick Google. I didn't pull up anything that I usually use.
Yeah, I'll have it in a second. But that's a stadium that you do got to worry about. When it comes to wind, I don't really even consider it if it's not 15 miles an hour or more. I don't really, and again, I'm not the biggest weather guy. Some stadiums, weather does make a difference. I can tell you at Citi Field, and when you see those arrows pointing to right field, that's a pretty good sign because it's a small porch, and a lot of guys hit home runs in that right field. But the wind kind of swirl, you'll see, they'll say the wind is blowing in at Citi Field, but it's really swirls in that stadium. It depends on how it's built. Yeah.
When it swirls, it knocks the ball down.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes you don't, but yeah, they have Chicago blowing to the left, center to left. So, I thought maybe that would help us out with the total. I think the 9 is a really good number, for this total. If I see the 8.5, I would probably be thinking over 9.5.
So if you're leaning over, I was going to say, shout out to our guy LJ from H-Town. His bet today for the sesh this morning on Medicate Monday, he took the first 5 over in this game. He had a great.
Okay.
He sent us a great breakdown.
That's a decent, thing to go by. Right.
So shout out to LJ, man. Always appreciate him. Anybody else?
Yeah, without doubt.
If you got bets, drop them in there. Nathan said he's got Brew Crew first 5 plus a half a run minus 135. That's interesting. The juice is high, but I think. Man, I feel like that's a safe bet because I like the Brewers on the money line, so I definitely like.
What's the first 5 outright? What's the first?
Here, let me pull that up for you right now. First 5. We're looking at.
Because I want to take this game somehow.
You could get plus money, anything from plus 102 to plus 115, depending on where you shop for the Brewers.
Yeah, Darryl, I agree. That's what I was saying about the wind. That's one of those stadiums you got to really look at with the weather, without a doubt. Good.
Here's our this next game that we're about to shift to, and if you take this first 5, just let me know. We'll recap all our action for everybody in the chat too, guys. We'll let you know at the end of the show once we're done talking about all these games. This next one's definitely not a world beater here. You got the Pirates taking on the Royals here. Pittsburgh taking on Kansas City. Yeah. If I'm being completely honest, I cap everything because it's what we do. This does nothing for me. This is Oviedo versus Greinke at home.
Yeah, I like the Royals. The Royals have been one of those teams lately. We've been banging some team total overs with them and with some success, but it's a tough game. And the Pirates and the Royals. I know the Pirates were everybody's sexy pick at the beginning of the year. Another team, they got a lot of good young players, the Pirates. Another team, they don't have the pitching. And they did nothing at the trade. They did nothing.
Because they knew they were a fake. They knew their team wasn't any good. And let me ask you this, Dommy. You've been in the gambling world for a long time. When did the Pirates become the Sharps' favorite fucking baseball team?
I don't know.
The quote-unquote Sharps. The quote-unquote Sharps.
Exactly, because you're talking to the right guy when you saw something to Sharps and Pros and Joes and all that bullshit. You're talking to the right guy when it comes to that. And especially to how gambling has been. They used to be true years ago more than ever. Now, with all the information that's out there, with all the tons and tons of people betting, trust me, the public is a lot sharper than it used to be. Trust that. and these bookies know it. So don't get caught up with that bullshit all the time. But anyhow, I don't know when the Pirates become that because, and again, this year, a lot of guys, I heard a lot of guys talking about the Pirates. Yes, they were doing, but you know what happens with these teams? Beginning of the year, they catch some people by surprise. The young pitchers do pretty good. After a couple starts, the other teams got some tape on them and they're done.
Yep.
Oviedo is a perfect example.
That's what I was about to say. That he's a prime example of what you just said right there.
And who's pitching for the Royals?
You got Greinke on the mound here.
Yeah, I mean,
Greinke 1-12 on the season.
On this game, sorry.
Yeah, no. Let's be honest, Dom. We don't need to keep talking about this one unless maybe we're gonna bet it. But me personally, at 9.5, I couldn't get there with either team's team total. I'm not backing Oviedo. I'm not backing Greinke. Even at home, Greinke is just he's
the over 9 is minus 125. So they want to push that a little bit higher. I mean, yeah, if it's a game where you had to put a bet in or whatever, yeah, I mean, I would say over if anything, but pass.
Shout out to my guy Razor Sharp Picks out there in the chat.
Razor
stopping into Razor. Dom, we've got a few games left, but I just want to say this. I absolutely love capping baseball with you, man. We got to make sure we do this more often.
Listen, me, my thoughts on the whole subject that we I won't go into it.
Hey,
but look, yes, there's too many of us. There's too many of us between who banging and pub that way. There got to be some way to figure this out, fellas. Powers that be. Call me. Hey. I'll give you an earful.
No, look, I'm in the same boat. You won't get this reference, but shout out to Pimp C knocking doors down. Every time I think about this, I think about that song when he's rapping to other rappers. He's saying, "Look, if we stop this petty bullshit and come together, how much money we're gonna see." Right? We all got to come together, man. I was just saying, I love capping with you. We're all a family.
I agree.
Shout out to all you guys. I love everyone, man. Over here at Pub Sports Radio, everyone at Who Bangin'.
Yeah, without a doubt. Listen, like we said, we're all friends, but there got to be a way to figure this out. So go ahead. Next.
Okay, next game, another one here. Yeah, some of these later games aren't as intriguing to me.
Yeah, I think that those are the games I really didn't cap too much because I wasn't going to play them. But I mean, what game are we on? Are you on the? The Reds Giants game is an interesting game. This kid pitching for the Giants. Let's go Atlanta. I'm sorry, you got Atlanta up. Elder against Gamba. Gamba actually hasn't pitched that bad this year.
I mean, lately he's been kind of on. Anybody who's been backing him. Let's say his last 10 starts. If you've been backing him his last 10 starts or so, you've been making money backing Gomber.
Yeah, without a doubt. I agree. And the Braves have had a couple little crinks in the armor as they should. I'll tell you one thing about the Braves. They have won almost every game one of their series all year long when they go home after a road trip. That game one series, they got some crazy record. Not that it applies to tonight, but it just popped into my head to keep that in mind,
So this is
but it's a tough game. This is a weird game, right? Now, Elder, he's had a couple games that he didn't pitch so great, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Elder, so he's been back on track his last two games. Against the Mets and the Yankees, he only gave up 1 run through 5 and then 0 runs through 7. But right before that is where you were talking about. He had a little streak there where he gave up 5 runs against Pittsburgh, 5 runs against Chicago. You go a little bit further back, he gave up 7 and only 3 innings to Tampa Bay. He only went 2 2/3 against Arizona and gave up 5 runs and 7 hits. Now, granted, I'm digging back into July and August, so I'm going a little further here. But yeah, he's been one of those people who, he's never pitched this many innings ever. And I try and tell people how important that is. It is hard. And there's a point, Dom, where a pitcher's arm, it doesn't matter how good they are. When the arm is shot, they're done for the season. And that's a hard thing for some people to understand.
And that's something that you gotta know who these young pitchers are, because those young pitchers have not pitched 100 innings. They haven't gone over 80, 70 innings. So even though they pitch so great, that doesn't mean they're going to pitch their last 5, 6 starts are going to be good. because exactly by what they're not used to that. Exactly what you said. But as far as these two teams, I mean, it's like I don't even know how you would play the game. How do you play the Braves? I mean, they're just ahead in so many categories. It's like ridiculous. If you look at rankings, I mean, number one in runs per game, number one in run differential per game, number one in batting average, number one in home runs per game, number one in at bats per home run per game, number one in earned run average for the bullpen. I mean,
what the
fuck, Rockies are 29th in run differential per game, 15th in average. But I mean, 15th in average. The Rockies, that puts them, mid, average, which at league average. I mean, they're ranked 15 out of 30 teams, right? So they're ranked pretty even there. But I don't know how they play this game.
I'm in the same boat, and I'm gonna be honest. Maybe we'll be quick with this next one too, because I don't know how to bet this next one either. Oakland and Seattle. Seattle, I've been saying it since the All-Star break. They look like the team that made the playoff run from last year. They have one of, if not the best pitching rotation in baseball. Watch out for Seattle. Maybe even consider getting some Seattle futures in here because they might make some noise in the playoffs with that pitching rotation.
Last year it was Seattle and the Guardians, right? They both Cleveland and Seattle. They made that run at the end, and everybody was like, "Wow, look at these two teams." Well, I think like the Baltimore Orioles progressed from last year, so did the Mariners, and I like their pitching staff a lot. I think they're only going to. I like their pitching staff a lot. I like this team a lot. It's the Oakland A's. I don't have a bet.
No, I agree. I don't know. Other than a parlay, I don't know how you bet this. They're almost at minus 300 with Brian Wu on the mound. I mean, like if you had like one of their more like seasoned pitchers on there, maybe I could understand it being this much. But this price is just too much for me to back Brian Wu here. I wouldn't have a bet here. Maybe the first 5 over. Shout out to our guy LJ. I know he was on that too, but I'm just off this game. So let's keep this rolling. We got 2 more left here, and at least these last 2 are a little more interesting to me. We kind of hit a streak there where those games weren't the best, but these last 2 games I like. We got Cincinnati.
One of those 2 games is my other question mark. One was the Brewers, and one of these 2 games and it's this game. I like the. I was going to say the 49ers. Yeah, it's football season, fellas. Rarely I like the Giants, but I like them tonight. I like this kid Harrison. It's his second start. His first start, he didn't pitch so bad. This kid had a crazy high strikeout rate in the minors, like 36% or something crazy. And it was in the Pacific Coast League, which is a big run. He had a higher ERA, it was like over 4, but in the Pacific Coast League, all it is runs in that league, for where those teams play. And he had a great strikeout rate. The Giants brought him up. Second game under his belt. I like the Reds, but I don't like him in this spot. And I think I don't like this spot for them. I kind of like the Giants. Minus 129. I mean, the price is getting a little steep. I'm not sure what it opened at, but I like the Giants tonight. That was my other question mark. Was the Brewers was one, the Giants was the other.
I think this line speaks volumes.
Where's Nutflush Allen? I want to know.
We got to see what Nutflush says. So
I want to know what he thinks about this kid too, because if I'm on the right track with this kid.
This game is so interesting to me, Dom, because I think the line's getting up there for San Francisco. Abbott, going for the Reds here. Abbott's got plus stuff. He struggled in recent outings, but the young righty, I expect good things from him. And this line, and I don't think that's going out on a limb. I think a lot of people have seen the bright side from Abbott. I think a lot of people have made money backing the Reds. So
yes, including me. Yeah, they've been a great team to back, but I don't think there's a good spot for them.
I don't think. Well, that's where I was getting at. That was coming full circle. This line, like everything tells me, like Reds. Everything feels comfortable Reds, and then you look at it. This line minus 125. Like, I don't know, man. This is probably San Francisco or pass for me. Also, I won't get to the window on this game, but I totally get it. And the Reds offense still, it's so hit or miss for me. Like, they could put up 8 runs or they could go up there and put up a goose egg, which is just frustrating when you back a team like that.
Yeah, the Giants have been an up and down team this year. They went on some nice win streaks this year. I remember in June and July they were playing great, and then all of a sudden they fell off. Their pitching went out the window. That team is full of ex-Mets, man. That Giant team, full of ex-Mets. I know. I agree, Daryl. Daryl likes the under. I'm not so keen on that 8, but I hear what you're saying. I don't trust the Giants either. That's why I had a question mark on this damn game. I would like to get to the window on, like I said, on the 2 question marks. I want to get to the window on one of them. I guess if I'm going to do that, I'll just stick with the Brewers and take the plus 118.
Man, shout out our guy BJ in the chat. He said that he's seeing money come in on San Francisco. It's up to minus 135 now.
Yeah.
BJ is a great capper out there in the chat. I know everybody knows.
Yeah, they're taking money, and that late money, man, sometimes means a lot. I know a lot of guys like to jump on that early money and get that early line, and a lot of times, it is the best line. But that late money tells you a lot sometimes, that late jump. It works. It works, especially when it goes from a dog to a favorite. That is a sign to use, and I back that spot a lot of times if I see a dog to a favorite. Not that that's one of those spots, but I'm just saying in general.
Real quick, we've got one last game, everybody, and then we're going to recap our action. But I want to put my production skills to the test here and show this Wednesday. What is it? Why does it look like this? Man, I'm not good at this production.
That's because that is what's an overlay.
Oh.
You would have to take us out to do that. Go.
Now they can't hear us. Screw it.
Okay.
Screw it. Wednesday, guys, if you haven't been joining the Pub Sports Radio tournaments on Wednesdays, every Wednesday it's $25 to enter. You can buy back in up to 3 times for a certain amount of time.
It's been
a lot of fun.
I didn't know it was every Wednesday.
Yeah, I think they're doing it every Wednesday. I think this is the last one for a little bit. But Pete was one of the last ones in on. If you win the Wednesday tournament, you get a buy into the bigger Bet Online tournaments, and they had a 15K pot going in the last one, and Pete did a really good job. So shout out to our guy Pete. I don't think he actually ended up winning it, but he got damn close.
Cool. Very cool.
All right, let's roll.
I play poker on Bet Online. That's where originally I've been using Bet Online for a couple of years now, and that's the reason what made me start using them was because they had a good poker site, and it's run pretty good, so that's why I used it.
And it's a lot of fun too. We go live for the tournaments. There's some people like Slaughter. Shout out Slaughter. He has a $50 bounty on his head. Jose's
cool.
in the tournament.
That's
Other
cool
people
that he does that.
Just little things to make it fun. But here we go. We're moving on to our last one here. We got the Diamondbacks taking on the Dodgers. Dodgers minus 136. You got Gallen going for Arizona. You got Bobby Miller on the other side for the Dodgers. Bobby Miller's been great as far as, record goes. He's been touched up a little bit a few times. And then Gallen finally starting to get back in form. Let me pull this up. But, last 3 starts, he's given up 0, 1, and 1. 6 innings through all 3 of those. And then the start before that, 7 innings, only gave up 2 runs. He fell off for a minute, but I think Zach Gallen's starting to look more like Zach Gallen. All that being said, the Dodgers are, they're the Dodgers, and they're hot right now. For me, this game is a tough one. I'd probably take the plus money with Arizona, but I'm I've said it all along. I don't make money betting against the Braves, and the Dodgers might as well be up there too. I don't like betting against teams like this.
Like you said, Gallen is pitching better, and he sure is. I mean, his last 3, 18 innings pitched, his last 3. 0.98 ERA, 0.93 WHIP, 22 Ks, 1 homer. Last 3 starts. Those are some good numbers. Miller, 18 innings pitched, last 3 combined, 2.45 ERA. Again, 0.93 WHIP, 13 Ks to 1 home run. The question is, Gallen's pitching better, but is Arizona back? Boy, I thought Arizona. We were loving Arizona. We talked about. During the All-Star break, we talked about teams that we liked in the second half and stuff. We did a little show. Matter of fact, Razor was on the show with me, and we talked about, and we all liked the Diamondbacks going forward. They had a great first half, and they came out of the All-Star break terrible. Now, last week or so, they looked like they're a little bit better. Eric Jones says Arizona's 10-3 to the over in this spot. Yeah, the Dodgers seem to own the Diamondbacks. I know in Arizona they own the Diamondbacks on the road. I'm sure the Dodgers at home that maybe the number isn't changed that much. I would like to find a way to back Arizona, but I just can't. I just can't. And I do like Bobby Miller. I think he's pitched pretty good this year. Again, he's a young guy. Let's see what's going to happen with him going forward. I can see some runs being scored in this, maybe. The numbers, like Eric is talking out. A shout out to Eric Jones, all-time low bagger. He's saying 10-3 to the over in that spot. And Dodgers 12-1 straight up. Yeah. They seem to own the Diamondbacks. But
it's
and the over is going against both pitchers' numbers for the last 3 starts, right? So, but which is something I follow though a lot, and it's something I learned. I learned about 5 years ago, and I learned it from Noli that just because a pitcher has been the last couple starts haven't been, if they're a good pitcher, they had a couple bad starts. That doesn't mean that. Go with them. You're going to get a better number with them. They turn it around a lot of times.
That's the best time to back them, Dom. Everybody, look, I know we all know.
This year I caught a couple of good starts with Alcantara because he was pitching so bad, but I caught a couple of good numbers with him because he did, so he's a typical example. But
so here's this guy's everyone's going to be like, obviously, but Verlander, he started off the season terrible. And I told everybody, I said, he's going to get straight. Verlander's going to get straight. He's been nothing but money of late. If you've been backing him.
Money. Yep. Even his last 2 or 3 starts with the Mets, he was money. He was starting to come out of it. Listen, I talked about it from the beginning of the year. A lot of the veteran pitchers got better anyhow. Listen, I think the whole pitch clock and the rules were a tough thing for a guy like Verlander, who's been pitching that same way since freaking high school, and all of a sudden you have him out of his rhythm. Come on, you know that. You can't take guys out of their rhythm. It's like, put a shot clock on the golfers or something, see what happens. Or whatever, so I thought that had a lot to do with a lot of veteran pitchers. Verlander is pitching with a vengeance. He's a big reason why you got to like the Astros. You can't sleep on the Astros, that's for sure.
Definitely, man.
But, yes. I know.
Shout out the chat one more time because we're about to recap this. Brian Watson said, anyone like Texas? We talked about it. I kind of like the Texas team total over 4.5. I don't know if I can get behind them as a side at this moment, though.
Londo, I agree with you, Londo. D-backs are a trap tonight. I know a lot of guys like the D-backs. They think they like that price. I agree with you, brother.
Pull that up, man. Shout out to you guys.
Yes. Go ahead. You want to recap our games and get out of here, right?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get through it real quick. I'll let you lead the way. Let everybody know what you got action on, and thank you guys for coming in. Slow Jams put in the chat. He said WNBA, a little bonus pick, under 174.5. What game though?
Let me see if I.
What game? Let me know what game. There's probably only one tonight, right?
Liberty money line. He's saying. I was gonna see if my boy Teese was in the chat. I'm in a private chat with him too. But yes, he had that WNBA pick. But
shout out to our guy Teese, man. And again, shout out Jose. Obviously, this is his show. I appreciate him trusting me enough. Trusting me enough to put me up here when he's out of town, even with all the production issues and my lack of ability with that. Dom, it's been a blast capping with you. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys, because we don't have anything without you guys. We're up here for one reason, and it's because of y'all. So thank you guys so much in the chat. Dom, what are we betting on today?
Yeah, I second all that emotion. I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate all the love. And shout out to you, Jose. Like I told you, I haven't heard from you in a while. I'm always around for you guys. So there's my boy, Fo Patachi. That's my boy right there.
Yeah.
Light it up, my brother. Okay, I'm on the Twins, over 4.5, minus 120. I'm on the Phillies, minus 129. I'm on a prop bet. The Padres win and Snell to have at least 7 Ks plus 120. I'm strongly leaning on that Brewers plus 118. Strongly leaning on that. And that's it. That's what I got for you guys. I said, I thought it was a tough card. It was a card that, and I'm not going to force it just because I was coming on the show. I wouldn't do that to you guys and just put out. Some guys they think they got to put out plays. No,
No, we're here. So, we're here to win. We're
here to make some money. If we make a unit, that's great, man.
That's a good day, right?
Any
day,
we're good.
Yeah, exactly. Any day we win money. And that's what, I say people give me a tough time, but a lot of people some people appreciate the low volume that I have. So what I am on today for sure, I got the first 5 over 5. I got minus 115. It looks like the best you can get on that is minus 125. Now, I still endorse that. I like it a lot better than the 5.5. I think that hook is a scary thing, and I'm not scared of a push. So I would take the 5 if that's available. First 5 over 5 in the Astros Red Sox. I'm going to pull the trigger on the Padres first 5 minus 1. One of the things I've had success backing was Snell in the first 5 this year. And against Wainwright, as bad as the Padres are and as frustrating as they are, I got to get behind him one more time here against Wainwright and the Cardinals. So I'll be on San Diego minus 1 in the first 5. And I am probably going to pull the trigger on that Rangers team total over. I've got another hour before that game. I just want to look at it a little more.
Yeah, that's the weather over here in New York. It's like hot and humid. It's cloudy out. There's no wind or anything to talk about. So
you think my weather lines up for it?
I don't think the weather's gonna have anything to do with it. Is my point. So
okay,
that's for sure. Like you were saying about Snell, I agree. Listen, that ERA of his, like you say, isn't that could be lower, but don't forget about what happened in Mexico, right? When they went down to Mexico, remember those games? They all let up a lot. I've been saying that with the Padres pitching staff. When you're looking at the Padres starters, and I'll stop rambling. When you look at the Padres starters, don't forget those games. There were 20 runs scored, 18 runs scored, whatever the hell, right? So keep that in mind, man. You got to watch your stats. You got to watch. You got to watch. Some stats will kill you.
I agree completely. I was on one of those games, and I ended up cashing my bet, but it was like I cast my bet with I was like on a first 5, and the Padres were up like 8-6 or something ridiculous. It felt like such a dirty cash. Hey, but a cash is a cash, right? One last time, man, shout out to you guys. JW in the chat said something about watching me hit on the OnlyFans models. That's funny. If you haven't tuned in on Thursday nights, shout out my guy Dave. We bring on some pretty illustrious guests. We've got another one this week that'll be a lot of fun. We had some fun with the interviews. I got a little bit intoxicated.
That's what it's about, right? That's that kind of show. That's what that kind of show is about, having fun, man.
There you go. Exactly.
Right.
Maybe just a little less alcohol for me this week, but maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. Dom, thanks again, man. You got any last words for everybody in the chat before we get out of here?
No. I just thank everybody. Thanks for coming on. I'll be back doing my Saturday show at like 9:30 Eastern time for Light It Up on Saturday. And, and then the Who Bangin' Boys will be doing their football after following me. And, we'll be back and forth. It's football season. It's going to be a great September. Keep your eye on us. Keep your eye on Pub. Keep your eye on Who Bangin'. And I think you guys will have a profitable September. And we'll start hitting that football before you know it, man. And then we can get into the college basketball. And that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
Right.
Right. I can't wait. That's my favorite.
NHL. So
I can't wait for that college basketball.
But thank you, everybody. I appreciate it, Cab. Anytime you need me, you know where to find me. And thank you all you guys for stopping in. See you guys soon.
Yeah, we're out of here, man. Appreciate everyone. Right. Oh, what? That's a background. That's definitely not the exit. Give me 1 second. If I can find one, we'll go with the taint play of the day to get out of here.